Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. In this time, I would want to present a topic on environmental issue in Zimbabwe, where I'll be touching on the deforestation and its impacts in Zimbabwe. As I am here highlighting um, here, when you on this point, whereby I'm showing these pictures of forested and deforested areas in Vumba Mountains in the eastern of Zimbabwe. This per picture is which I've just highlighted with the red arrow. It is the picture of one of the areas in the Vumba Mountains which is still occupied with the trees, and the other part that I'm highlighting with the green arrow is a picture also that was taken in Vumba Mountains that I've copied from the Neander radio, whereby the other place and the party has been deforested when people were trying to build their houses and create places for agriculture. When you go to the next slide I'll be talking of the overview of Zimbabwe's forests, whereby I'll be talking about Zimbabwe is home to diverse and valuable forest. Talking of the statistics of the forest cover in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe has been covered by about 30% of Zimbabwe is covered by forest. There is also rich biodiversity found in Zimbabwe, where we'll be talking of plantations, protected indigenous forests, the woodlands, the bushland, and the wooded grasslands that is also in Zimbabwe. The crucial role of forests in providing ecosystem services such as carbon sequestration and water regulation and soil conservation in Zimbabwe. Deforestation in Zimbabwe, it is a pressing environmental issue right now. The causes of deforestation in Zimbabwe, it is the agricultural expansion, illegal logging, and whereby we are talking of forest products being harvested and transported for sale outside the law of Zimbabwe. Under agricultural expansion, tobacco is the farming has contributed about 15% of deforestation due to dependence on firewood for curing the tobacco. Due to agriculture and sustainable exploitation of fuel infrastructure developments, uncontrolled fires, invasive alien species, and climate change have caused much of deforestation in Zimbabwe. I'll be talking about impacts of deforestation. Deforestation has far-reaching effects on the environmental. We've got the loss of biodiversity, deforestation. Deforestation threats to plant and animal shelter and food is being destroyed due to deforestation, because some animals, birds, they live in trees and they feed from trees. Also, the deforestation causing soil erosion, because there will be nothing that to be there to grab the soil so that the soil doesn't get eroded during rain seasons. It's also causing climate change as people are now uh, trying to get to greenhouse um, productions, and this is causing some gas emissions and the global warming, and this will cause is causing climate change in Zimbabwe. We're talking of also the other impact, which is on the social and economic impacts of deforestation. Um, Deforestation has disrupted the livelihoods and cultures of indigenous people. As people, they are losing their traditional land, and the threat to cultural identity, health impacts, as the local people, they rely on some trees roots for cure and some tree leaves for medications. So as deforestation continues, there is loss of these trees, loss of these tree leaves that they use for health treatments, and also loss of subsistence of and the livelihoods. um, where deforestation has led to reduced water availability and quality. Uh, the quality of water is being laid by decreased infiltration and higher amounts of runoff because there is nothing to hold the soil covers. Also, soil erosion increased, causing concerns of flooding and higher likelihood of pollutants sweeping into nearby water reservoirs. We go to the point of economic losses. Loss of forest, it leads to decline in the industry's output. It affects tourism, it affects agriculture, and all this they contribute to the Zimbabwean economy. Conservation and restoration efforts. Efforts to address deforestation in Zimbabwe. Government has initiated policies and programs aimed at forest conservation and restoration. And the policies, like, for example, the national policy, which governs or protects the forests, and the local also communities have engaged in conservation efforts whereby they are planting trees in their fields, in their areas. Restoration projects that has been started by the Zimbabwean government, the introduction of forest-friendly products like the Mopani products, and also the awareness of education that the communities in schools, in colleges, there is now education and trainings about the importance of forests and the impact of it. Also, the collaboration and government between government and NGOs. We see, for example, the stage project in Wonde Valley, which is a United Nations development program which trains communities on the protection and sustainable utilization of forests and bamboos. Uh, these are the projects that have been started also in Zimbabwe to help in the conservation and restoration efforts. My conclusion speak about deforestation is an environmental issue in Zimbabwe with severe impacts on diversity, biodiversity, climate, and local communities. Conservation and restoration efforts are underway, but more action is needed. Everyone has a role to play in combating deforestation and protecting Zimbabwe's forests. In this, you can see the references that I've given. Trees, on one of the references under the Trees, Forest and People, which was written by Elzo. It's volume 4, September 2021. The Journal of Disaster Risk Studies by Diego Matangwe and his counterparts, Wimbo Sagonda, Mnyaradzi Kaundikiza, volume 8, number 9, number 3, published 2016, and Agriculture, Ecosystems and Environmental by J.T. Chipika and G. Koero, volume 79, on issues 2 to 3, July 2000, pages 175 to 185.